In a single generation, either through despair or a sense of self-sufficiency, it is possible to forget about God's loving care, for the church to forget about God's providence. Psalm 145 is a warning not to let this happen. Verse 4 says this, "One generation shall commend your works to another, and shall declare all your mighty acts." Like many of David's psalms, this final one sets before us what God does and how we should respond. What does God do? Well, we can observe that God does great things through his wondrous works, through his mighty acts, through his awesome deeds, as verses 4 through 6 describe. God's greatness, we're told, is unsearchable. We don't even know how great God is. David highlights, though, for us God's works of creation and redemption. All creation testifies to God's creative power. Who but God could create the universe? It's unbelievably vast, intricately detailed, and beautifully ordered. But God's greatness is revealed even more wondrously in his work of redemption. He hears the cries of his children who call on him in truth, as verse 18 says. In addition to his great works of creation and redemption, God cares for his creatures through what may seem to us like mundane providence. Verses 14 through 16 spell it out. "The Lord upholds all who are falling. He raises up all who are bowed down. The eyes of all look to you, and you give them their food in due season. You open your hand. You satisfy the desire of every living thing." All creatures desire to flourish, and God meets those desires. The world teems with life because of God's generosity. Well, this truth of God's greatness, his great works of creation and redemption, and his routine work of providence calls for a response. The psalmist doesn't just believe and meditate on God's providence. He announces what he has come to know. And that's the proper response. Verse 21 says this, "My mouth will speak the praise of the Lord." By speaking God's praise, we resist the temptation, especially when earthly riches accrue, to turn from God, from whom all blessings flow. In a community that remembers God's faithful care, each generation will add to that old story the account of what God has done with them. That's what we need to do. Just believe and say that God has provided for me. All of us are beggars who must look to God for help. We must believe and convey to our children, as verse 13 says, that God's kingdom is an everlasting kingdom and his dominion endures throughout all generations. Every other kingdom, every endeavor not built on the rock of Christ will fail. Only those who call on him, love him, and thank him will be preserved. Psalm 145, a song of praise of David. "I will extol you, my God and King, and bless your name forever and ever. Every day I will bless you and praise your name forever and ever. Great is the Lord and greatly to be praised. His greatness is unsearchable. One generation shall commend your works to another, and shall declare your mighty acts. On the glorious splendor of your majesty and on your wondrous works I will meditate. They shall speak of the might of your awesome deeds, and I will declare your greatness. They shall pour forth the fame of your abundant goodness, and shall sing aloud of your righteousness. The Lord is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love. The Lord is good to all, and his mercy is over all that he has made. All your works shall give thanks to you, O Lord, and all your saints shall bless you. They shall speak of the glory of your kingdom and tell of your power, to make known to the children of man your mighty deeds and the glorious splendor of your kingdom. Your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and your dominion endures throughout all generations. The Lord is faithful in all his words and kind in all his works. The Lord upholds all who are falling and raises up all who are bowed down. The eyes of all look to you, and you give them their food in due season. You open your hand, you satisfy the desire of every living thing. The Lord is righteous in all his ways and kind in all his works. The Lord is near to all who call on him, to all who call on him in truth. He fulfills the desire of those who fear him. He also hears their cry and saves them. The Lord preserves all who love him, but all the wicked he will destroy. My mouth will speak the praise of the Lord, and let all flesh bless his holy name forever and ever.